One more. One more. Beautiful. Good. That's what we got to bring him on to. Nobody can take them.
Wear the Kronk merch. Shout out Kronk. So first session is strength. We're basically gonna be doing some explosive weights. High intensity, short amount of time. We're working on our sprint system.
Jake Paul. And excuse my French, what the f is Anthony Joshua gonna do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute.
Anthony Joshua stays locked in and disciplined as he prepares for the showdown with Jake Paul. His training sessions reveal focused strength work, controlled movement drills, and a calm confidence as he sharpens every part of his game. On the other side, Jake Paul is also putting in serious work, trying to show he belongs in the ring with a true elite fighter. The build-up highlights both men grinding hard, creating interest in how this unusual and heavily discussed matchup will unfold inside his camp.
One thing I knew, he was a hard worker. Second thing I knew, genetically he's very gifted, but I knew after the evaluation we had some work to do. Now I've seen his body already evolve into something totally different. I've seen his conditioning evolve into something different. And more importantly, his understanding of his body and why he's doing things the way he's doing them. That's the most important evolution that I've seen.
Joshua trains with full belief in himself, fully aware that he holds the clear advantage over Jake Paul. Even with that certainty, he still pushes himself daily, determined to make a statement. His mission is straightforward: enter the ring, dominate, and silence all the noise and talk coming from Jake. Eddie Hearn explains that the financial offer,
I mean, only that's all that matters.
Because early on, if you look for power, you waste energy. Then that power evaporates. When they're tired, you ain't got the power to take them out. So you've got to open up in the gap for no reason. So just relax, flow.
Just pop off
Good
that
feet,
reach.
you were saying.
Just pop off that reach. And any time you move, that should be that. That should be that. Yeah. And then the controls down the middle. All right.
Yeah. That's what
Control smooth. Relax. 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 Last minute, mate. That'll do you then. Uppercut. Good. Right hand. Good. 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 Left hook high. Good. Uppercut high. And again.
presented to Joshua, is simply too massive to turn down, especially at this point in his career. Joshua has already accomplished nearly everything a heavyweight aims to achieve. So taking a high-paying fight becomes a strategic business move, not an act of desperation. Hearn points out that prize fighting has always been a blend of money and legacy. And when a boxer is offered a huge purse for a fight he can comfortably manage, without taking extreme risks, it becomes the logical choice. The promoter stresses that Joshua is not acting out of character or making a wrong decision. Instead, he's taking advantage of the opportunities available to him. Hearn adds that no fighter would realistically reject easy, high-level money when it fits smoothly with their training, timing, and long-term goals. In his view, Jake Paul offering such a massive payday opened a door Joshua had no reason not to walk through, because boxing is also a business where big offers must be taken seriously.
Ring by Mike Coppinger, that one's in the works and looking likely for December. What can you tell me?
Yeah, not yet. I mean, there has been conversations, obviously. I think it comes down to how true, they are. Jake Paul is that he actually wants to fight. I mean, he's a madman if he wants to fight. But for some reason, and he thinks he can beat AJ. And I have to be honest, we were going to have a run out in December, over 8 rounds against a bloke you've never heard of. And we may end up having a run out against Jake Paul for a career high payday. I don't see how we can turn it down.
When I asked you about it a couple of days ago, you said that at that time you never really got into the financials. Have those been discussed now? Have you discussed the financial element?
Yeah, there has been some conversations around that, and it is, it's a huge amount of money. And I think AJ would be mad if he didn't do it, and I think he will do it if Jake Paul is genuine. We may wake up tomorrow with these people and they've announced another fight. Honestly, anything could happen. So I still can't get my head around the fact that this guy wants to challenge AJ. Listen, respect to him if it's true, but we shall see.
To end on that note, I spoke to Alfie Sharman earlier. He said that himself or DAZN have had no conversations about AJ potentially taking that fight. Obviously, AJ is exclusive to DAZN. What's the situation with regards to that? Because I know everyone here.
Apparently the fight's done. Obviously, it's not done because those conversations have to take place. I'm very confident that I can have some positive conversations with DAZN. Obviously, we'll be on a clock, but it's a 50-50.
Last one from me. I saw Chris McKenna tweeted that Anthony Joshua currently doesn't have a British Boxing Board of Control licence. Obviously, it's not unusual for someone who isn't fighting currently and he's inactive to let it run out. But he'd have to apply for one to face Jake Paul again. and then they'd have to approve a fight. Do you think that'd be a similar?
Analysts point out that Joshua's resume includes battles with some of the most dangerous heavyweights of this generation, even with a 14-month layoff. They insist the difference in experience between him and Jake Paul remains enormous. They discuss how Joshua has spent years facing champions, knockout artists, and elite-level athletes who push him in ways social media-driven fighters have never experienced. Although inactivity can impact any boxer, experts believe Joshua's fundamentals, reach, power, and ring IQ still give him a huge advantage over a fighter who is still developing. They also mention that Joshua's previous loss does not reduce his position here, because the caliber of opponents he faced is far beyond anything Paul has dealt with. Their overall view is simple. Even after time away, Joshua has more than enough skill to control the fight and dominate at will.
Wrong, right? And just to clarify, I don't class Otto Wallin as a very competitive fight. Every competitive fight that AJ is in from now until the end of his career and has been in for the last few years, I believe has taken something out of him. Every time he's in a competitive fight, even when he's won, and I'm not saying taken out of him to the extent where he's no longer a good fighter, no longer can do anything, but every single one has taken one out of him. So let's say, for example, you go down the Tony Yoka route and you can sell it as the 2 Olympic gold medalists and whatever. It's a lose-lose, mate. You're expected to knock him out. If you don't, then you go the distance. I think that's going to take something out of you. I actually think that this could be better prep for a Tyson Fury fight. Not just
mentally as well, because he smokes him and it looks great, and then he's confident.
This is what I'm saying, right? Not just from a stylistic boxing standpoint, but from the mental standpoint of the fact that if you go in there and you smoke Jake Paul, straight away, all of a sudden, it's headline news, it's massive, and as well as that, you're coming in off the back of something that's impressive, right? We all felt like the Francis Ngannou performance was really impressive, but it wasn't followed up with an impressive performance. So it doesn't actually determine whether or not...
This is worse. This is worse than that. I don't know what you're thinking, Lawrence, but the Ngannou one, you could at least say heavyweight. You could say that his pedigree. So we didn't really...
On the distance
while
of
he
Fury.
was coming from a different kind of method of fighting, end of the day, he's still a champion. We're talking about Jake Paul, guys.
Do you know what's mad? Can I just add something in before Loza jumps in? There are Americans, and I've heard them in the last 24 hours, giving Jake Paul a better chance than Francis Ngannou, saying he has the boxing experience. Francis Ngannou didn't have enough boxing experience. Because that's how Americans view this whole thing.
Well, no, Francis Ngannou did have more boxing experience than Jake Paul.
Well, yeah. But that's what they're saying is Francis Ngannou had 1 fight, Jake Paul's had 10, 12.
10 rounds, and you little say I'm licking his ass. 10 rounds of Tyson Fury, will gain you more experience than everything Jake Paul.
Adam Catterall strongly criticizes the decision to sanction this bout as an official contest, rather than an exhibition. He argues that making it a real fight puts Jake Paul in serious danger because Joshua's natural heavyweight power is far beyond anything Paul has ever encountered. Catterall points out that exhibitions allow for safer pacing and controlled intensity, but an official match removes that safety cushion. He expresses worry that Paul may not fully grasp the reality of a heavyweight punch, especially from someone built like Joshua. He questions whether entertainment is worth the risk and believes this event crosses into unsafe territory. His warning focuses on the fact that while fans might enjoy the spectacle, stepping in with a former world champion under full rules is nothing like a YouTube-level matchup. Experts also mention that many fans have long waited to see Joshua square off with Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Brutal knockout against Dubois.
Yeah.
Not the same AJ maybe of the past. He's 36. He's got a chance to earn £70 million, maybe to add to the 150 he's already got. Why wouldn't he do it? Because why would he want to maybe for 5 or 10 million fight a Fabio Wardley who's dangerous, Itoma who's dangerous? Surely from an AJ point of view, it makes sense.
Makes sense. From any fighter's point of view, it makes sense because you're in... Listen, belts don't pay your mortgage, do they? And I know he's got a lot of dough anyway, but 70 million... If someone's going to throw you 70 million quid to fight a lad that struggled and lost to Tommy Fury, you're going to take it, aren't you?
Yep.
So from AJ's point of view, I completely get that. From Jake Paul's point of view, you're leveraging your audience in the world of boxing and making a ton of cash fighting the former 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. Mate, Most boxing fans would bite your hand off at that opportunity, especially if you throw in 70 million quid in the pot as well. I've no problem with the promoters. My problem is that it can't be a legitimate fight. Let's be dead honest about this, right?
Eddie Hearn said it will be.
Listen, there is no commission on the planet that can authorise that fight. It's a 2-time unified heavyweight world champion, still in his athletic prime. You just said he's 36. We're not talking Mike Tyson age of 50 odd here now, are we? Olympic gold medalist. He's had 13 world title fights as AJ. 13 of them. Against the very best guys.
And could take his head off.
Like it
is dangerous.
Yeah.
It is absolutely dangerous. Like I just said, Jake Paul struggled with Tommy Fury. The levels between these two guys are ridiculous. The commissions cannot sanction that as a legitimate fight. There has to be a rule change. It has to be an exhibition. And then you can have a little bit of a move.
Hold on, Gav. Let's go back to proper boxing. I'm with Cats here. You know, this is ridiculous.
Big story, though.
Oh, listen, because it's AJ, because it's Jake Paul, it's going to do numbers and capture people's eyes, right? But
a fight teased for years. They say people are confused that instead of chasing the long-promised showdown, Joshua is now preparing to face Jake Paul. Analysts explain that boxing politics, contract issues, and timing have repeatedly blocked the Fury fight. Meanwhile, the Jake Paul matchup was simple to organize and came with a huge financial payout. They acknowledge fans' frustration, but emphasize that Joshua is choosing the option that makes the most sense for him right now. While the Fury fight remains the big dream, the business side of the sport often leads fighters toward unexpected paths. Chisora continues by pointing out the kind of damage Joshua can inflict with a single clean punch. He believes that once Joshua connects properly, the fight will be decided quickly. Chisora states that Paul has never taken a shot from someone with Joshua's level of power, making the likely outcome obvious. His comments show both concern and realism, reminding everyone that boxing is dangerous, especially when size and experience differences are this extreme. Tommy Fury reacts by comparing his own experience against Jake Paul to the challenge Joshua represents. He explains that if he was able to beat Paul, then Joshua, a bigger, stronger, and far more seasoned fighter, would have no difficulty at all. Fury says the matchup isn't about comparing skill sets, but about recognizing the vast gap in levels. He believes Paul is stepping into a situation he's not built for, and Joshua's physical presence alone will create problems from the start. Tommy Fury repeats his confidence in Joshua's dominance. He talks about how fighting Paul gave him insight into Paul's strengths and weaknesses, and because of that, he is certain Joshua would control the match with ease. Fury notes that Joshua's size, technique, and power are on a completely different level, and in his view, there is no scenario where Paul lasts long without being overwhelmed.